Well, right now, the U.S. is averaging around 180,000 new coronavirus infections per day. So far, more than 54,000 people in Virginia have now received their first dose of the COVID-19 vaccine. That's out of about 285,000 that are available in the Commonwealth. Maryland has administered 36,000 vaccines, and in the district, 11,000 people have received the vaccine. Dr. Fauci says if vaccines are given through the spring and early 2021, there will be enough herd immunity to return to some sense of normalcy. But what does that mean for people heading back to the workplace? Can your employer require you to get the vaccine? This morning, attorney Alex Ozols is joining us to talk all about this. Alex, first off, welcome and good morning to you.
Thanks so much. Good morning to you as well.
This is something obviously that you're an expert on. You talk about this all the time, and this is going to be new to a lot of folks. We know that this year, a significant amount of people, about 40-something% in November, said they would not take the vaccine. So employers might have to consider some options here. What can an employer do if their employee does not want to get vaccinated?
Yeah, so they can fire them. There's a government agency, it's a federal government agency called the EEOC, and it was basically made to help employees. And so they put out guidelines to say what's going to be allowed and what's not. And in this situation, the guidelines came out on December 16th. And the guidelines say that if an individual refuses to get the vaccine, then they cannot come into work. And in a lot of situations, that equals a firing. When you think about, for example, if someone's a server or if someone's in construction, they can't really do that remotely. So in this situation, there's two exceptions, but in that situation, they can essentially fire them, which is crazy. This is huge because this is going to affect a ton of people.
Let's get into the exceptions. I know one of them is religious exceptions, but you can't just say, hey, this is my religion now, and this is why I don't want to get the vaccine. Talk about that.
Yeah, so there's two exceptions. The first one's religion, and that comes from the Civil Rights Act of 1964. And basically what that says is if you have a protected religion, an established religion, then an employer can't tell you, hey, you have to do something that's against your religion. Now, that would be a religion where it is against getting vaccines or entering or having anything enter your body. This isn't going to be a situation we're hoping that people are looking for legal loopholes here and they're going to have the, anti-vaccination religion of 2020 or something like that. That's not going to work. That's not going to fly. It's going to be if there's an established religion, they can make an exception. The second one is the ADA, so the American Disabilities Act. This one will cover people who are pregnant who can't get the vaccine, people who have extreme allergies who can't get the vaccine. This one may cover a couple other things, but it's not going to cover if you have anxiety from vaccines or anything like that. And again, if this happens, then the employer is supposed to make an exception, a reasonable accommodation. But in a lot of these situations, the employer can't make a reasonable accommodation.
Right.
If someone's a server in construction or, doing haircuts or something like that, they can't do this remotely. So in that situation, it's likely they would be fired.
Now, this isn't without precedent, and I have one more question after this that I really want you to answer. I have about 90 seconds, but really quickly, a lot of people might be shocked by this. This isn't without precedent. It happened in 2009 with swine flu. Granted, it wasn't a full-blown pandemic. What are the similarities here and the differences?
So healthcare workers have a flu mandate. That's one. You were right about 2009 and swine flu. Also in the sanitation industry and the wastewater treatment plants, they have to get a hepatitis vaccine. So this would be one that's a more full-blown mandate, but this has been going on for a while. This isn't something that's new. They have been mandating vaccines in certain situations. And in this situation, because it's so intense, that's the reason why this would be a vaccine that's mandated across all workplaces.
Lastly, herd immunity. What if the majority of the population, we reach that benchmark that Dr. Fauci's been talking about, and so you have herd immunity? Will that make it so that employers perhaps ease up on the remaining people who don't want to get the vaccine?
Yeah, so we're hoping that employers kind of are encouraging the vaccine. It's going to be an interesting situation if someone tries to get an exception or someone sues the employer. No one wants that. So at a certain situation, you would hope that employers would, encourage people to get the vaccine and not mandate it, although it can be mandated. Because if enough people have it and no one's getting COVID at this point, the numbers are low, it would be a little bit odd for an employer to mandate it. But a lot of these employers, they want to say, hey, all my employees have this. Right. So even if numbers are down, even if a herd immunity has essentially happened, even if if no one has it at that point, the employer may still say, hey, we want to be able to promote this as everyone at our business has a vaccine and it's safe to come here.
Interesting. Okay, Alex Ozols, thank you so much. This is something I'm sure you'll be busy in the coming months. It's something that's only going to be discussed even more. Thank you so much for providing us with that insight. We appreciate it. And Happy New Year.